Hello, hello. My name is Lakeisha Hines.
And I'm Willie Hines.
And you are watching The Storehouse for Caregivers. We're so excited to have you here with us today. It's April. I don't know how we got here so fast. It seems like this year is just flying by for us.
Yes.
But we're in April, and we know that April is familiar for, famous for a few things. April showers, that's what I think about. Springtime. Yeah. Rejuvenation, rebirth, all those things. But maybe some people want to travel because, it might be spring break for some folks.
Yeah, that is true.
Right? So maybe they're traveling. There are multiple ways to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Plane, train, automobile. Today, we're focusing on planes. Hopefully, when you're traveling, your plane won't be going down like this one that you're seeing on your screen.
This is not the way to start May.
No, it's this is not the way to start the year. April, May, no month, right?
Right.
So there's a purpose for this, though. So you hold on, just wait, just hang in here with us. We'll explain to you what's going on with that. But for this episode, we're talking about the DELTA Doctrine. Now, but when we get on the plane, there's all these announcements that happen, right? They make all these announcements. And
that we never really listen to.
Well, if you've never flown before, I think the first time you listen because you're terrified, right? You don't know what to expect. But for people who have been on a plane multiple times, earbuds are in, you start going to sleep. Immediately. And so they're not really paying attention to what the steward or stewardess is saying. But one of the most important announcements that they make is, should we be in trouble? In the unlikely event of the loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop from the ceiling. Securely place your mask on first before helping anyone next to you who may need assistance.
I think the key word in that is first.
First.
Securely place your mask on first.
Yes.
So that's what we're honing in on today.
Full transparency. As a mom, I was thinking, if my kids are on the plane, there is no way I'm doing that. I'm putting the mask on my babies first, and then I'll put my mask on. But I thought about that, and I realized that if I pass out while I'm trying to get the mask onto the babies, then we're both in trouble. All of us are in trouble. That's no good. We're no good. So I need to follow the directions and put my mask on first. Now, this came from Peter Rosenberger. Grabbing the mask first is not a sign of selfishness, but rather the whisper of wisdom. And it just reminds us as caregivers that we cannot continue to pour from an empty cup. Our stability is what actually creates our child's stability. So it all begins with us. And it's really just designed to help us as caregivers to build that resilience, the clarity, the community, and action through 5 steps, which is how we came up with this DELTA Doctrine.
And what I want everybody to remember is just keep in mind during this conversation that we're asking you to take care of yourself first.
Yes.
Take care of yourself first. Again, we're going to remind you throughout this time that it's not selfish. It is. Yes. It is actually unselfish for you to take care of yourself first in efforts to be the best product for your child or your kiddos who you're caring for.
So, yeah, I think I'm one of those people that likes to try to juggle multiple things. And man, my pastor just said recently that it is so much more productive and impactful when we kind of hone in on one thing, completing that task before we move on to the next thing. Right. And so I think about that in terms of care, right? If I'm not being intentional, you're not being intentional about self-care and taking care of ourselves, then we're not giving our loved ones 100% of ourselves. We're giving them
whatever's left,
which typically isn't very much, right? So we want to make sure that, again, we're not pouring from that empty cup. We're trying, really, what we should be pouring from is the overflow. Think about that. Literally, it should be the overflow. Yeah. We should be full, and then whatever is spilling over is what we're giving to everyone else. But, we're working on it, right?
Working on it.
Work in progress. All right. So the first D, I think you should do it because your middle initial is a D.
Right. So in the DELTA Doctrine, we We double dosed it this time. Just play on the letter D again. We double dosed it. So for the Delta Doctrine, on the first letter with D, we want to start with dedicate and delegate. The theme of these words is just, man, you matter as well. You matter too. So dedicate. What is dedication? And how do caregivers need to dedicate themselves to themselves? We need to ensure that caregivers commit to caring for themselves as a priority, not necessarily a luxury.
Oh my gosh, say that one more time.
We need to ensure caregivers commit to themselves as a priority and to understand that it's not a luxury. It is a priority.
Yes.
So this can happen in many, 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 many ways. The first and probably the most important is your mental and emotional wellness. You want to make sure you're mentally and emotionally stable.
Yes.
And seeking out help, whether it's counseling, therapeutic services, whatever that looks like, to ensure that you are doing that first. Rest and setting boundaries. Rest is key. The lack of rest can cause a lot of damage. I'll just say that. Health concerns, irritability, so on and so on.
Well, we were talking about brain fog yesterday, right? Both of us sitting at the desk trying to work, trying to get things completed. And literally, I was staring at the computer like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? It was brain fog because I was lacking rest. So that's so important for that mental clarity and just also to give you the energy that you need to be able to complete all the tasks that you have on your plate.
The next item is a huge one. You have to have an identity beyond caregiving. You have to cognitively remind yourself that you're a human being. You're a husband, your wife, your parent, but first you are a human being.
Yes.
And you are an individual. So don't lose yourself or attempt not to lose yourself in I am Joshua's mom. I am David's dad. I am Braylon's father. My name is Willie. That's who I am, and that's who I am first and foremost. So we don't want to lose your identity into the kids, and then establish your purpose and your long-term vision of who you are and what you want to be and what you want to accomplish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think some of the things that we should focus on too is burnout awareness, right? Making sure that we know when we're getting to that place, what some of those warning signs are. And even if we miss those, like being able to identify that, okay, I'm there. So we use the term threshold. And we talk about that all the time where it's like, okay, I feel like I'm reaching my threshold. And we both understand, because that's our language, what that means. And that means, okay, I need to step in. I need to help out. I need to do more. I need to take some of the pressure off, for my partner because they're reaching their threshold. And this took time, people. So don't think this was something that we literally just woke up one morning and we knew how to do this. No, it took time. And it took a lot of trial and error. And so we're in this space now where we can communicate with each other in that manner. So we know, like, don't wait until you're there. Because that's when the plane's going down, right? Don't wait until the plane's going down. We want to make sure that we're having those conversations when some of those little signals are going off, right? In the plane. In the cockpit, there are all these little buttons and levers and alarms and all these things, right? So when we see that there's some type of alarm or there's something that's triggered, then that's when we're having the conversation, not when the plane is on its way down and the oxygen masks are falling from the ceiling and all this craziness is happening. But again, that takes time and it takes practice, and that's something that we're here to support you with as well if you need assistance with being able to identify those warning signs.
It's just like driving a car. I know we're talking about a plane right now, but just like driving a car, you want to keep up the maintenance, but the minute you see that check engine light come on,
oh my gosh,
you have to go get it serviced really quick.
Yes.
Do not wait, do not continue to drive with that check engine light on.
Well, it causes more long-term damage, right? And it's going to cost you in the end
time and money.
Yes, and if we think about our bodies, same scenario. God has literally put these warning signals inside of us already to let us know when we're in trouble or when we're about to be in trouble. Like your mouth is dry when you need to hydrate, right? Your stomach starts growling or whatever when you need to eat. Right. So we have all these signs to let us know that, hey, we're reaching this place where we might need to get some assistance. And so what do we do to avoid that?
So the next D, delegate. Ooh, that's tough. That is tough because as people, naturally, and specifically caregivers of children with disabilities, we want to control everything. And we may not want to control the actions. It's just we want to control the outcome. Ooh. So that's an item that takes a lot of courage to delegate, to practice delegation. And understand that it's actually strengthening that. It's courage in asking for help. But definitely delegation is going to be a huge item to think about and to actively do. In efforts to delegate, we understand we have to do it appropriately. Mm-hmm. Build the right support around you, the right network around you. Be okay with asking family or friends for the specific help that you need.
Right.
Most people close to you want to help. They don't know how to help.
Yes.
And at times they jump in to help and offer assistance that isn't needed or maybe contradictory to what's wanted. So with professionals and community resources, take advantage of everything that you see. And if something doesn't benefit you, pass it along. That's how those connections and that communication and connection grows.
All right, so on to the E of our DELTA Doctrine, elevate and educate. So knowledge creates power. Knowledge creates power. And, again, in moving to that space where we are releasing some of the control, we do need to start shifting from survival mode to growth mode. Because for many, many years, oh my gosh, I remember that's where we were. Yeah. Literally just in survival mode, trying to keep him healthy, trying to keep him safe. He was a danger to himself because of his self-injurious behaviors. It was just so much going on that we literally were just in survival mode. And so being able to shift from survival mode to growth mode is huge for us, not only mentally and emotionally, but physically as well, because we took some of the pressure off of ourselves and literally put it on to him. Like, listen, you're capable of doing these things. And so by us releasing some of that control, taking a step back, being able to shift from just surviving to now we're going to focus on what he can do independently and how he can grow, that helped us to grow as well. And so as we're moving toward elevation, what are you confident that you're capable of doing? What are some things that you need to take the lead on? And we have to be emotionally resilient. Oh my gosh, because
it's tiring.
This thing is like a roller coaster sometimes, right? Where there's just dips and twists and loops and all these things with the special needs journey. But that emotional resilience for us comes from our faith and our relationship with God, because there's so many things that are outside of our control. And really, a lot of times, control is just an illusion anyway. There are things we think we're in control of and we're really not. So, just being able to trust that, our Lord and Savior is there with us, leading us, guiding us, protecting us, and only allowing those things to happen that he deems necessary for our growth. And challenges. Whew. So many challenges. We have to reframe those. But when it comes to challenges, we can look at it. Let's say there's a conflict between the two of us. We don't agree on something. I don't really like conflict. I really, really don't. I try to avoid it as much as possible. And Willie's like, well, having a conflict really is just an opportunity to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Never thought about it from that perspective. He's right, because when that does happen, we're in a space now where we have to communicate. I'm listening to his perspective. He's listening to my perspective. And sometimes I lean to him. So I'm like, yeah, That's good.
Makes sense.
That makes sense. And vice versa, right? But it gives us an opportunity to learn more about each other and to grow as well. So don't look at the challenge as a bad thing. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow. And then, of course, we maintain, as we're elevating, we maintain this advocacy mindset where we continue to advocate for our kiddos and our loved ones with special needs, but also we have to advocate for ourselves.
Some things that you can do to help with elevating yourself is just celebrating the small wins.
Yes, and we struggle with that.
Yeah,
not us, but people in general, I think.
No win is too small. Celebrate those items. And another thing, as Keith kind of spoke to earlier about, recognize your strengths and do those things. And things that you have opportunities to get better at, work on those things in a gradual state. But recognize and own your strengths, because we all have them. Yes. And they're all different. So recognize yourself for that.
Yes, and as we hone in on those strengths, that helps to boost our confidence. Yep. All right, educate. There is never too much information, right? There's never too much knowledge. So caregivers have to focus on getting practical knowledge, right? So it's interesting. We were working with a family not too long ago, and they're newly diagnosed. And one of the things we focus on is getting as much information as you can about that diagnosis. Because the more you educate yourself about that diagnosis, the more empowered you feel. And a lot of times, newly diagnosed, you just feel out of control. Like, you just feel like, oh my gosh, this thing is happening to me. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to turn, where to go. But as you educate yourself about that diagnosis, you'll be able to get some steps, some pathways that you need to go down to help you to manage and deal with the diagnosis. So educate yourself as much as possible. And then learn about the different interventions that are available to your child, because that's so important as well. Just knowing what's the plan, because I think that really helped us to kind of tackle, once we got the diagnosis, like, okay, what's the plan? What are we doing? What do we need to focus on? And then working with the school system, if your child is still in school, educating yourself about their 504 plan and their IEP plan. That's so important too. A lot of times families go into these meetings and they walk out having no idea what just happened in that meeting. And so being able to educate yourself about that, being able to speak up, going back to that advocacy for self, if you don't understand something, make sure that you do before you leave that meeting, and that you're clear and that you're in agreement with whatever is being discussed about your child. And knowing your legal rights, knowing your responsibilities, that's so important as well. And not that people are intentionally trying to take advantage of you. But again, it goes back to that empowerment, right? And just being able to educate yourself so that you're empowered to be able to make decisions on behalf of your child. And boy, financial literacy. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. And insurance literacy. The more you educate yourself about insurance, I promise you, the happier you will be. So levitate and locate, right? Rise above the chaos. There is always going to be something crazy going on, something that just you didn't anticipate, you did not expect. In this special needs world, chaos is normal, right? So, but we have to learn how to rise above that chaos. So for here, we have to focus on emotional regulation. And that is so important because, again, you know, as you're dealing with all of these moving parts and juggling all of these things, it can be daunting and it can be extremely emotional when your child is sick or they're having behavioral problems or whatever your circumstance is. But we have to be intentional about rising above, levitating above the chaos. So how do we do that? You manage the overwhelm. Sometimes when we're overwhelmed and stressed out is because we're taking on matters that are not meant for our hands.
Most of the times, and not to say there aren't any things that's outside of our control, but most of the times when we're overwhelmed, it's because we've said yes too many times to too many people, to too many circumstances.
To too many things.
We've said yes too many times.
Guilty.
in efforts to potentially please someone or what have you. Mm-hmm. So you have to take back some of those yeses in efforts to free up more of your time and be less overwhelmed.
It's by saying, hey, I know I agreed to do X, Y, Z, But when I said yes to that, I really just wanted to honor your request. My heart really wanted to help you because I saw that you were in need. However, I said yes too quickly, and I apologize, but I'm going to need to step back because I have some other things that I need to manage. And once I'm done with those things, if you still need my help, then I'm happy to jump in. But for now, I need to take a step back and focus my attention over here. Peace and love, right? In peace and love. And if it's someone who truly, truly, truly knows you and cares about you, they'll receive that and they'll understand that, again, it wasn't intentional. You really just said yes too quickly.
Yep.
And so that's another thing, right? That's another tip. Mindfulness and grounding. When you are feeling, again, overwhelmed, and there's chaos going on, you have to be, again, intentional about taking back your peace, your energy, and you can do that through practicing mindfulness and through grounding. There are multiple ways to do that. You can Google it. There are YouTube videos that you can go to and watch. You can contact me for that, but definitely learning how to practice mindfulness and grounding will help you so much when things are chaotic and going crazy all around you. And then the other L is locate. So we have to locate our current reality. Sometimes we are so far in the future, we are not focused on the present. Mindfulness does that too, brings you back to the present. But what is your current reality? Right? And then what are your child's strengths and needs? What are the resources that are available to you? And what are the gaps in support? So once you're able to identify your reality, now I know who I need to go to or where I need to go or what type of help I need to ask for once I'm clear on what my current reality is. So there's life mapping that you can do. There's resource location guides. We are here. That is one of the main things we do is support for caregivers. We connect you to community-based resources and then just joining different networks that can help you to navigate the different resources that you might need. All right. So tolerate and triage. So this is what we need to do when we're trying to survive difficult seasons, right? So we have developed what's called endurance, right? And it has developed over time, but we have developed this endurance for uncertainty and long journeys. And depending on your kiddo's diagnosis, you may be in for a long journey, right? And so again, being able to tolerate the different uncertainties and journeys, we have to grieve. We have to grieve and accept.
And give yourself permission to grieve.
Give yourself permission to grieve.
A season to grieve.
Yes. When we found out that our son had damaged multiple areas of his brain, we had to grieve that loss of who we thought he was going to be. We had already kind of started thinking about, the type of life we wanted our son to have. Mm-hmm. And when this happened to us, when meningitis happened to us, strokes happened to us, and this brain damage happened, well, that went away, right?
Yes.
And so we had to accept that what we originally planned and thought was going to exist for him was no more. And we had to create a new reality. We had to create a new norm. Chronic stress is something that we know is real and kind of comes with the territory. But how we manage that stress is what's going to make or break our mental, emotional, physical health, right? We know that there's going to be a lot of stressful events, but how you respond to that stress is extremely important. We have to be able to cope with setbacks because setbacks are going to happen. Even now, it's a part of it. This kid is 21 years old and we're still experiencing different setbacks. And so again, how do you process that when a setback happens? Do you look at that as, oh my gosh, the world's coming to an end? Or do you look at that as, you know what? It may be a setback right now, but it's setting me up for something even bigger and better on the other side of it. So perspective, mindset is everything. And being able to experience flexibility in your emotions, because you may wake up on Monday, you're feeling great. And Wednesday morning you wake up, you're feeling sad because maybe you're thinking about, something that happened with your kiddo or whatever. And that's okay. Giving yourself permission to not have a good day. Every day is not going to be a good day, and that's all right. But as long as you don't stay there, that's what's most important. Being able to rise above that, right?
And some ways to combat some of those items is sharing with peers, which most of the time those are safe spaces, because those peers know what you're going through, and also may give some words of encouragement just to motivate you a little bit. So being able to share out those true emotions in truly safe spaces helps with you being able to tolerate the experience or the environment that you're in.
Yes. And so then we're going to triage. So all my medical folks out there, if you work in the medical industry or if you just have a kiddo who's in and out of the hospital and you know about triage, right? This is the crisis management stage. And so what we're focused on is what matters the most right now. What's most important? What's top priority? Right now. What's the emergency prioritization that we need to focus on? Medical, behavioral crisis planning. That's where we're at, right? Decision making under pressure. This is all in this triage stage. And it's going to look different in different seasons. But once you master how to triage, it doesn't matter what situation or circumstance comes up. Once you master it, you'll be able to apply it to whatever comes up. So learning how to create the top 3 priorities framework. Again, what are the top 3 things we need to focus on? When families reach out to us, they tell us, that they're overwhelmed or stressed out. That's the first thing we want to know. What are your top 3 priorities? What are you focusing on right now? What's most important? What deadlines do you have? And let's triage this thing, okay?
All right, so we're going to aggregate and activate. Here when it comes to action. The theme is just to build impact and community by aggregation. Caregivers and the people that are around you and even therapists, that community, they have certain knowledge that you're going to need to attain. And sometimes it's just through random conversations.
Yes.
That something may come up, that something may trigger like, oh, yeah, let me think about that. Let me do that.
Right.
Those professionals have resources because this is their job. This is what they do. And anybody in that medical profession, they have a knack to care and just want to do more.
Yes.
We were speaking with a nurse last night. She said she has trouble with boundaries because she wants to give and do more for those families that have children with varying disabilities.
Yes.
Along with sharing, being in a community with peers and other caregivers, be able to talk about experiences. Our son, we've been in this life for 21 years. We were just speaking with someone who's just recently diagnosed.
Yes.
A dad who was recently diagnosed and trying to lean on our experience, and that's what we are indeed here for.
Yes.
That's why we want you to contact us to say, hey, don't take 2 or 3 years to do this.
Yes, and don't try to navigate this alone.
By yourself, right.
Yes, we're always looking for people who are further ahead than us. Like this same nurse that he's talking about, their loved one is in her 30s.
Right.
And so, man, she's able to help us anticipate some things that, we need to look out for. So caregivers coming together, man, there's a wealth of knowledge, so many resources and connections within the special needs community. So I love getting together with different caregivers because we always learn something from one another.
So now it's time to activate. It is time to work. We have been forced to and then have made a choice to be moved into advocacy and purpose. There is not one person I know or one family that I know who does not want to advocate for their child and others that may be going through something like that in their lives. So this impacts policy, it makes people more aware when we move into that advocacy world. There's more community outreach, and you'll find other families that are going through and eliminate some of the silos that are going through some of the things that you may be going through as well. And it just offers a supportive community. And when you have that, and you have a bunch of people going through or advocating for our children, it reaches areas that we may not reach with it just being one of us.
Yeah, and we have an opportunity to create systemic change.
Yes.
So, some of the ways that we can actually activate are by speaking and storytelling, sharing your testimony, sharing your story with others. That's how we have made the most impactful connections with people, is just sitting and listening to their stories and hearing what they've been going through. That connects us. Volunteering and, again, those outreach initiatives, just being able to connect with other caregivers within the community, and not being afraid to step outside of your community, right? Being open to connect with people that maybe you would not have normally connected with. There's so much information and support and knowledge and wisdom to gain from one another. So we want to leave you with just these 3 steps, right? If you're in this high stress moment, you're having a high stress experience, 3 W's for Willie.
Thank you. We want to wait.
We want to wait.
Take a moment before responding. Lakeisha stated this earlier about the yeses and saying yes too quickly. So whatever the situation, the scenario, even if you're in a crisis, just take a moment to just ground yourself before responding. Have a glass of water.
Yes. You know what? Taking a drink, you drink to think. And while you're drinking, you can't talk. So that forces you to have to stop and think, right?
And next is walking. Immediately helps facilitating calmness. It immediately it does. Going outside, getting fresh air. If there's something in crisis that needs to be handled, yes, you got to handle that for safety reasons. But outside of that, take a brisk walk, a quick walk, or just go outside just to get fresh air and come back to the situation as clear as possible and start making decisions to move forward.
Yeah, when you go outside, you get that fresh air, you're getting that oxygen to your body and your brain, which helps you to be able to think with more clarity. So the 3 W's, Willie loves this. They cost little to nothing. You may have to pay for some water, maybe. But it can
cost, high impact.
Yes, sir. But the 3 W's can instantly help you make better decisions, calm down, and actually feel more at peace. So there is one that we actually love, box breathing. You can see this on YouTube. I love box breathing. You can do it anywhere. You can do it multiple times of the day, but it really helps to just calm you down and realign, readjust, resettle, recalibrate your system. We love this one. So you can go to YouTube. You can find that. We'll include a link below for you to be able to access that, but this is one of our favorites. So we just want to say thank you again for watching. We appreciate you so much. Stay connected with us. You can scan the QR code on the screen to get all of our contact information. Our website's there. And then, of course, our support group meets every single month. We alternate in person and virtual. And this the flyer there will give you the different dates. But again, this is available on our website, and we definitely look forward to seeing you at group. So until we meet again, have a good day.
See you soon.